talking with Cosima Frei from Zurich, Switzerland, who had a short film at our festival last month called Where Do We Go From Here? How's it going, Cosima?
Good, thank you.
How's Switzerland doing?
It's raining. It's pouring with rain, as usual.
As usual?
Yeah.
How many languages?
It's a good summer, though.
How many languages do you speak?
Well, I know everyone has the cliche that all Swiss people are fluent in at least 4 languages. I'm not. I only speak English and French.
Well, that's one. That's one more than me, because when I was in Switzerland, that's what I felt like an idiot, because everybody spoke so many languages and I only spoke one.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I know. I feel like an idiot too here.
Okay, so we showcased your film, Where Do We Go From Here, at our film festival last month. You saw the audience's reactions. So what was your reactions to the audience's reactions?
I have to say I was very, very honored that people on the other side of the world have thoughts, think about, discuss about things that are very close to my heart and that I had thoughts about. So, and I was surprised how international film is again. People understand, and it was a very honest critique, positive and negative, and I appreciate both. It was great.
Is there anything that stood out from the feedback that for you, like did anything that kind of like opened your eyes a little bit?
I really liked there was someone made a comment about the intimacy between the two people, and that the girl in the end just brushes everything off, and that it's about strangers meeting each other, and that was exactly what I intended, and I was touched that people felt this.
Like a connection, just like they'll never see each other again.
Exactly. And that someone also said that it's a story, it's 2 people meeting each other, but it's not about sex. And that was very brave for me, because they try, but in the end it's about something completely else.
Well, I think I was talking about the metaphor of the haircut. Like for you, was there like a thematic to his haircut?
Yeah, definitely. It's well, first of all, I just have a fascination for hairdressers. I love it. I love to go there myself, and I just love the atmosphere. But yeah, sure, it was about growing up. I think it's a very simple metaphor, of course, but yeah, I like it. And I also think that in our lives, when we cut our hair, it's often also connected to emotional changes.
Yeah, like it's because you are different, like physically, like, and you notice a lot of people like change their hairstyle, especially women change their hair like when they go through a drastic change too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially women, as you mentioned it.
Yeah.
True.
Well, because you generally have more to play with than men. Men are just basic, right?
Yeah, that's true. I suppose that's it.
So why this film? Like why did you make this film? Like what was it? Was there like a deep meaning for you?
Well, it's this immigrant theme was quite had a big role in my life, because I was almost the only Swiss girl in my class, like in primary school. So I had a lot of friends who are now in lower socioeconomic classes, and I kind of moved on. So this was a big topic, and my best friend, she's Turkish, and was also always torn between 2 worlds. So it was, things that I experienced while growing up, and so the places, the locations, it's all in the area where I grew up. It's actually places where I used to play, the bars where I used to go out, so it's all,
And we, in our audience in Toronto, is very multicultural, and that's something that thematically people can really identify. They really identified with your film, because there's a lot of that 2 worlds kind of aspect is what you described.
Yeah, it's funny, just last week I had a friend from Toronto here, actually, and she's Malaysian, but also Canadian, of course, because she grew up there, and she said it's very normal in Toronto that people have very different origins.
Yeah, well,
more so than here, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go into certain communities, and it's like you feel like you're in Portugal, or you feel like you're in Italy in Toronto. It's like, and a lot of kids have that kind of cultural problem where their friends and their environment is one thing, and then their parents or their home environment is another thing, and so they're kind of like image. That's sort of what you're kind of going at after in your film.
Pardon?
Is that what you're going after in your film? Like you're like kind of going after that sort of like setting?
Yeah, exactly. That's one a big aspect of it. But on the other hand, it's also about, of course, meeting strangers, and sometimes you don't like the mask falls with strangers, but you have to keep it up with the people who are closest to you.
Yeah, 100%. It's a really engaging story. It's like it's very well performed too. How did you like put this entire film together? Like you kind of from a photography wise, you kind of hit like you kind of like showed us this world that he's from, and then like performance wise, the performances were pretty on the ball. Like how did you put this all together? I know it's kind of a broad question.
Well, I did a casting, and it was really hard to find an 18-year-old Turkish guy. So they were all amateurs, most of them. Well, the girl, she's now at an acting school, but all of them were amateurs. And we rehearsed a lot, and I prepared a lot with the cameraman, so that on set we didn't have to discuss. He just knew what he had to do. Like, I didn't see many of it, he just did, and I trusted him. And that was the way to work, that we had to work quick, and that the focus of the film should be the acting, just the acting and the story.
And he didn't mind getting his hair cut?
He did. He was so vain. It was terrible. He was very embarrassed. He always wore a cap or a hoodie during shooting, always when we had a break, because he was so embarrassed.
Well, that's like his character too, right? In the nightclub, when his friend takes his hat off, he was in like, it's like, I guess that's not acting. He was embarrassed.
He was. Yeah, it was very real.
And I'm assuming he related to this kind of journey.
Yeah, he did. It was more or less his own life story. Very similar, although he's a complete different character. He's very outgoing. He's more like a showman guy in real life, so he had to act. But he could relate, definitely.
So how many films have you made so far?
It's always hard. What do you count as a real film? I've made some small exercises, but at school I would say 3 in total. And now I'm applying for master's studies in Vienna, and hopefully there I get the chance to make more films.
And how did this film doing on the festival circuit?
Not bad. Actually, not bad. It's it was pretty good. It was shown in LA, and it was shown in Israel and Germany, so it's okay. Yeah, and I'm so happy also, just for the actors. I'm very, very happy that people want to see them acting, and that people want to see our work. It's great.
Yeah, and so do you have a feature that you want to be making pretty soon?
I would love to, and lots of people ask me the question. I would love to, but especially at the moment, my goal is to make 2 good short films, and then I will be ready for a feature, and then I will definitely want to make it. But first, I want to do another short. Because
you heard it in some of the audience members were like thinking this is like a first act of a short film. They wanted to see more, which is a great compliment for your film.
Yeah, that's a great compliment. And I know I'm also thinking I would love to stay with this youth topic, coming of age. It's something that really interests me, and also where I think as a young director it's easier to relate to.
Yeah, well, and it's because that's generally the audience as well. Young people go to the movies, right? Exactly.
Yes.
And you said, we were talking before we did this, you said you went to the movies today. What kind of movies are shown in Zurich, Switzerland?
This afternoon I saw The Grandmaster of Wong Kar-wai.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
That's the one, the
martial arts film.
That's the Kung Fu Master film?
Yeah. Although, his images are fantastic and fabulous. The story is sometimes hard to follow, but yeah, it was good.
Is there a lot of good Swiss films that North American audience should be watching?
There is one great director. She's called Ursula Mayer, and her film is called Home. It's a fantastic film. The rest of Swiss filmmaking, to be honest, it could be at a different point as it is right now, and I hope it will be in the future.
Is there a lot of like arts, like a lot of people, like I guess a lot of countries, from my experience, especially the short films, there's certain countries like Spain and Germany that really give a lot of money to short filmmakers. How does it work in Switzerland?
Not as much, unfortunately. Although we're a wealthy country, we have money, but somehow it's not as the passion for filmmaking is not as big as it could be, and I suppose it also has to do that we're divided by 3 languages, so you have to divide your audience, which makes it harder, of course.
Of course, and Switzerland is an interesting country as well, because you made a film about because a lot of people can't. It's hard to immigrate to Switzerland, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Like not a lot of people. So if you're born in Switzerland, you don't leave as well. Not many people leave Switzerland to go somewhere else.
No, not many. No, we're actually quite an isolated country compared to the rest of the globalization in the world. Yeah.
And you stay away from war.
That's true. That's a good thing. That's true.
You're the neutral country. That's what it's like, the cliche, right? You're the neutral country.
And that's true. It's also the mentality of the people. We are quite neutral. It's true. Not very extreme in our ways. That also makes the film sometimes a bit neutral.
All right, Cosima. So, what's your next short film? Before we leave it, what's the next film that you want to make?
I'm not sure yet. I did something at the moment. I'm more into the dramatic side. I did a story about young people and abortion, which is a tough topic, but which quite interests me at the moment.
Are more people pro-choice or pro-life in Switzerland?
Actually, I don't know the answer to it. In my circle of friends, of course, it's pro-abortion, but I don't know what tenor is in Switzerland. I don't really know, actually.
Well, it sounds like an interesting film, and make sure that you send your next film to us and we can showcase it again, because I thought that the audience really loved your film, and we opened it with our festival, and it had a really good response, and it's kind of a good. It's such a good film. You kind of want to watch it again, because there's something that you pick up the second viewing. At least they did for me. So congratulations for making such a great film.
Thank you so much. And I really have to say, it's amazing that you have this festival and you have such good discussions, because I've been to some festivals and the feedback was never so honest, and there was never such a such a vivid conversation about things. It was always a bit no one said anything. The Q&As were no questions, and was very I really appreciate this, that you do this feedback talk. It's very valuable for filmmakers.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next film.
Okay, thank you so much.